branding can be a strong marketing tool. It gives brands a chance to reinvent themselves, pivot in a new direction, and find new ways to stand out from the crowd. But not all rebrands are successful. Possibly one of the worst of these was the 2009 Tropicana rebrand of their most popular product, Tropicana Pure Premium, which had an annual revenue of $700 million, which at the time was one of the most popular orange juices in America with an annual revenue of $700 million. In this episode of Innovation Graveyard, we'll be looking at PepsiCo's infamous Tropicana orange juice campaign, the good, the bad, and the lessons we can take away from this incredible failure. Tropicana is a famous brand that sells fruit juice worldwide. At the time in 2009, Tropicana invested $35 million in an advertising campaign to promote their new packaging for their fruit juice brand. Both the packaging design and the advertising campaign was created by the same agency, Arnell. They had the great idea of refreshing the brand and giving it a modern look. When the brand chose to replace its existing packaging with a new design for the North American market, the company decided to abandon its recognizable orange with a straw sticking out, in favour of a design with a large glass of orange juice and the words 100% orange. And that was just the beginning of their problem. The launch in response to this new design was such a massive failure that Tropicana ditched the idea and returned to its original package design in just a few weeks. So what happened? How did it get it so terribly wrong? After Tropicana launched its new packaging for its best-selling orange juice, the Tropicana Pure Premium, things seemed to be going okay. But just a few days after the launch, customers began to criticise the new design, especially on social media. And to add insult to injury, Tropicana's competitors took to saying, "Never let a good crisis go to waste." And companies such as Minute Maid, Florida's Natural, and other orange juice brands all tried to squeeze as much out of the opportunity as possible. And they all recorded double-digit sales growth in the first 2 months after Tropicana's packaging redesign. In the same period, the sales of Tropicana's best-selling orange juice dropped by 20%, which saw the company lose around $30 million in revenue in just 2 months. So it was no surprise then, just 6 weeks after the launch of the redesign, on the 23rd of February 2009, Tropicana announced that it would return to its original packaging. At this time, the company had already lost an cumulative of $65 million, both from the ad budget and the reduction in sales. We see companies rebrand all the time, even come up with new logos that the customers are not the biggest fans of, but we rarely see any catastrophic failures at a magnitude of this level. Which begs the question, why exactly did Tropicana orange juice's package redesign fail, and fail this hard? Firstly, too many changes. What Tropicana failed to understand is how they sold their product to their customers. The Tropicana fruit juice is constantly put on the shelves in stores with other brands. As a result, it needs to stand out and be familiar, and their old packaging already had that. It was the best-selling fruit juice in the US. It had become a household name and the packaging was synonymous with the brand. And the new look completely changed the brand identity and killed this familiarity. And that was the first problem. If they had changed it slightly over time, maybe changing the logo first, then the image a few years later, and then the text afterwards, maybe, just maybe, people would be able to evolve with the brand. But what the company did was way more drastic. They completely changed the image of the packaging. The previous package had an orange with a straw sticking out of it, showing how fresh the product was, that it was like drinking directly from an orange. The new design was a big transparent glass full of orange juice without a straw. They also made it way more difficult to identify whether it was pulp free or had pulp. However, it must be said there was one element that customers liked. They moved the orange to the lid of the bottle, which was a truly innovative and interesting idea. The new lid had the shape and texture of half an orange. And this was launched with a new mantra for the juice, "Squeeze, it's natural." But that was the only shining light. As if all this wasn't enough change, the company went on to change the logo for the juice as well. The original design was horizontal and clearly had the product name, Pure Premium. But the new logo was vertical with a simpler, more modern font, and the logo size was reduced to give more space to the message. 100% orange, pure and natural. Arnell, the company in charge of the redesign, said, "We thought it was important to take the brand and bring it and evolve it into a more modern state." And well, this was their second problem. 2. Not everything needs to be modern. Before going out and creating the most modern brand possible, you need to ask yourself, who are your customers and what do they want? Are they young kids that will be buying from an online store, or millennials or boomers who prefer to walk into a store and get their product from the shelf? If Tropicana had truly understood their customers' demographic, they would have known there was no need to completely modernise their product. Now, I'm not saying that companies shouldn't upgrade their brand look. Far from it. But many customers just want the comfort of stability, especially when it comes to their essential items. People didn't want a modern juice, they simply wanted the same one they've been drinking for years. And when people seen the drastic changes on the shelf, it made them question had the content of the juice also changed. So customers opted for a more familiar looking, competitor juice, damaging Tropicana's sales, costing them $30 million in lost revenue in just 2 months. 3. The emotional bond. Branding is a complex subject and it's often difficult to predict the market's reaction to a strategy change no matter how little. Truth be told, customers feel an emotional bond with the appearance of products and brands that they love. And since there's an emotional connection, customers can feel betrayed and disappointed if they can no longer identify the brand's new packaging design. And this was Tropicana's situation. Customers were complaining that they no longer recognized their favourite fruit juice. And customers felt betrayed and upset. Think about it. Imagine a friend you've known for years suddenly showing up at your doorstep acting completely different. Or your partner changing their character after many years into a relationship. You may hear things like, "It feels like I don't know you anymore," followed by a frustrated or sad expression. Well, these were the same emotions that customers felt when their favourite juice completely switched it up on them. It felt like they didn't know it anymore. In a bid to modernise the brand, Tropicana failed to consider the brand's identity and recognition with the customer. With the number of drastic changes, Tropicana's orange juice didn't stand a chance, and the heartbreak from customers followed pretty quick. Now, there are the three main reasons we've pinpointed why Tropicana's brand failed. Let's pick out a few quick lessons we can apply to our projects, and hopefully save ourselves $60 million. Firstly, keep the items that make your brand unique. You should hold on to the elements that make your brand stand out. And remember not to change too many distinct brand elements at the same time when redesigning. 2. Understand the role of packaging. Packaging is important for two main reasons. 1. It's what sets your product apart from the competition. And 2. It's the last communication that you have with potential customers before they make their purchasing decision. Although we often say don't judge a book by its cover, that's really all we do. As humans, we have limited information processing capabilities, so we often use what we see to narrow down our options before making a decision. It may sound obvious, but we cannot taste all the juices on the aisle. So we use our eyes to find the most appealing packs to us and then select what we think is best. So when doing a redesign, use empathy to put yourselves in the shoes of the consumer. That way when you're making changes, you're leaning into what they love about the brand. This will give you a better understanding of how customers view the brand and what elements are super important. Tropicana's orange juice redesign demonstrates the immense power of packaging. It's important to note that packaging can and is a powerful tool for all businesses. Let's not leave this episode on a negative note. Since the redesign in 2009, Tropicana has bounced back to the top spot in the US as the top orange juice brand. And although juice may be getting a hard time for its high sugar content, it's still a staple for millions of people every morning. And in 2021, it had sales of over $1.07 billion US. It's also worth noting in 2021, PepsiCo agreed to sell Tropicana, Naked and its other North American juice brands to a French private equity firm for $3.3 billion. So who knows, maybe the new owner may decide to give the juice brand a new look. Hopefully they watch this video before they do. And with that, we've come to the end of this video. For more videos like this, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and turn on the bell notification so you never miss an upload. Thank you very much for watching, and see you next Thursday at 7:30 for another episode of Innovation Graveyard. Leave us a comment and let us know what food trend you'd like us to cover next. If you enjoyed this video, then give this video a like. We'll have new videos coming every week in 2022. And if you'd like to learn more about some of the hottest food trends, sign up to our free trend reports on ghost kitchens, vertical farming and more. You can check out the link in our description. Absolutely free. Until next time, ciao ciao.